What exactly happens when you stop talking to an avoidant? Let's talk about it. If you're new to attachment theory, there's four main attachment styles that we cover. There's the secure attachment style. This is someone who's very secure in themselves and in their relationships. And then there's the anxious preoccupied. It's called anxious preoccupied because someone with this attachment style is preoccupied with a relationship or the idea of a relationship, and they have a deep-seated fear of abandonment wound. That's their core wound. Then there's the dismissive avoidant. They also have a fear of abandonment wound, but what comes with that is a fear of commitment. And then there's the fearful avoidant. This is called the disorganized attachment style because this attachment style is kind of a mix of anxious and avoidant. Now today we're going to be covering the dismissive avoidant and what happens when you stop talking to them. So avoidants grew up in an environment where their caretakers were emotionally distant, so they didn't grow up having those close emotional connections. They had to become very self-reliant in processing their emotions. So they value their independence. Often they value it too much, and this is harmful for relationships because in order for a healthy relationship to form, there needs to be some interdependence where both partners are willing to surrender some of their independence. And avoidants struggle with this. They're very hyper independent. So independence is healthy, hyper independence is an insecurity. Now, to surrender some of your independence is to be vulnerable. And this is why avoidants fear vulnerability. They don't want to surrender their independence because to surrender your independence is to be vulnerable, and they struggle with vulnerability. So if there's some tension in a relationship, maybe a conflict or a fear was triggered or there was a breakup, this is going to cause the avoidant to withdraw. Now, when they withdraw, naturally, the natural reaction is to hold on tighter, to pursue them, especially if you have an anxious attachment style. You may feel compelled to do this, but it's probably going to push the avoidant further away. It's going to cause them to further withdraw. So I don't recommend this. Now, what happens when you just stop talking to them? You leave them alone. When you actually give them time and space to process their emotions. Well, at first they're going to feel a sense of relief, especially after a breakup or separation. They're going to feel a sense of relief if you just stop talking to them because now they can retreat into themselves and they can self-soothe. Now, they're going to need time for their fears to diminish because after a conflict or a breakup, there's a lot of fears being triggered in the avoidant. So they need time for those fears to diminish. Now, this could take a few weeks. It could take a few months, depending on the relationship. As those fears are diminishing over time, the avoidant is going to be kind of in a state of mixed emotions. So they're going to be kind of starting to miss you, but they're unsure as those fears diminish more and more. Now, once those fears are diminished, they're going to be left with their feelings. So they won't feel like their independence is being threatened anymore. They're not going to feel all these fears aren't going to be triggered anymore once they're settled. And they'll start to sit with their feelings, and they may even come to miss you. So whereas before it was kind of a mixed emotions, they miss you but they're unsure. Well, now that the fears have diminished, now they're starting to miss you more. So they may feel tempted to reach out. Now that's not always the case, but if they still have feelings for you, they're going to feel like they want to reach out, like they want to reconnect. And they may very subtly. But remember, to reach out is to be vulnerable. So saying things like, I miss you, I'd like to reconnect, can we talk? That's vulnerability. And remember, they don't do well with vulnerability. So if you're on the other side of this, if you're the anxious attachment style, or better yet, the secure attachment style, you could reach out to them depending on the relationship, if there's still something there, depending on how serious it was, what the conflict was. It'll be different for everyone. Now, I'm curious because I know every relationship is different. Has an avoidant ever reached out to you after a period of no contact, after not talking to them? Have you ever reached out to the avoidant? Now, if you're the avoidant, have you ever reached out to your partner? Let's talk about it. Let me know in the comments. Let's get the discussion going. Let's share some stories. But yes, in summary, that's what happens when you just stop talking to an avoidant over enough time. They're going to feel a sense of relief. Then over enough time, their fears are going to start to diminish slowly. They'll be in a state of mixed emotions. They miss you, but they're kind of unsure. And then as the fears diminish more and more, they're going to be left with their feelings. So it's going to be more of, I miss you. I kind of want to reconnect. That's what happens. But yes, let's please get the discussion going. Share your stories. Have you ever reached out to an avoidant? Has an avoidant ever reached out to you? If you're the avoidant, did you ever reach out to your partner after that period of no contact, after not talking to each other for a while? Share your stories in the comments section. I hope I brought some good into your life today. If so, please like and subscribe. And again, let's get the discussion going. Share your stories. If you think this video might help somebody, please share it with them. And until next time, you take care. I'll see you in the next.